The following video contains mature and sensitive themes for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everyone, I want to talk to you about the age-old controversy of internet toxicity that everyone has to face. Ever since the dawn of online gaming around the late 80s, early 90s, the seeds of toxicity were sown for what would become commonplace in most modern video game communities. Anytime you play an online video game, you'll notice common behaviors with how people conduct themselves. Few people outside of online communities are willing to talk about these issues, but I'm here to address them as best I can in this video. Online anonymity, for instance, makes it even easier for anyone to behave however they want with almost no repercussions, legally speaking. At the time of making this video, there have been very few cases that have made worldwide news. Some of these cases involve a phenomenon known as swatting, where people call emergency services, specifically the police, falsely claiming there's a dangerous event happening at a gamer's residence. How these users find out their location can only be guessed at, but safe to say their private information has been compromised. Swatting could be considered one of the most extreme types of harassment anyone can do, especially to people who broadcast their activities live for the entire world to see. In some instances, it has caused fatalities, which has prompted some authorities in the world, for example in the United States, to come up with new laws to discourage this type of behavior. People often stumble upon a variety of different types of behaviors in any game that's either text or voice chat available. Why don't we go through some common toxic behaviors? I have experienced quite a few of these, and I want to share them with you. A player accusing you of cheating or hacking to gain an advantage over other players in a session. Players putting down others while simultaneously bragging about how they are the best of the best, based upon how many hours logged, money spent, or skill level. This usually comes in the form of them cutting off others or dismissing their input entirely. Players creating controversy or chaos just for the sake of it. This can also be classified as trolling. Livestream or video content creators encouraging destructive or unhealthy behavior. People impersonating members of law enforcement and using this ruse for the purpose of forcing your cooperation, for financial gain or otherwise. Kicking or banning players from a game without warning or discussion as to the reasoning. Being unwelcoming to new players due to a multitude of factors, even if they are genuinely asking for help or guidance. Treating someone differently, specifically negatively, due to their race, gender, sexuality, etc. There are certainly a lot more examples out there that are not mentioned on this list. Interacting with people in the gaming world shouldn't be different from real life. How can these problems be solved? Simply put, by applying the golden rule, to treat everyone as you would want to be treated. The concept is that you treat people nicely because that's how you'd want them to treat you. If somebody has wronged you, sometimes it's better to just let it go instead of holding it against them. Nobody's perfect, and there's a good chance that someone has forgiven you for something you might not even realize you did. There is no simple answer to come by. It comes down to how you deal with it. Every situation is unique, and you have to look at it with your best judgment in mind. If you need advice, ask someone you can trust, like a family member or a close friend. Depending on your experience with these types of situations, they can be easy or difficult to manage. You may only see your fellow users by their username or a disembodied voice, but you have to remember that they're human just like you and I. Perhaps they could be in a vulnerable mental or emotional state, which you likely won't be able to tell offhand. You may not realize it, but what you say and or do while interacting with them could make or break their day, or cause dire consequences that you haven't even considered. With a lot of people on the internet nowadays, it's easy for a single mishap to turn viral, whether it be embarrassing, scandalous, or ridiculous in that situation. In the same vein, it is important to know how to protect yourself. Try to avoid posting personal information where anyone can see, as it doesn't take much to be harassed or bullied because you didn't know or didn't handle the situation properly. No matter what circumstances you come across, the only advice I can say is to give yourself time to think when any of this happens. Don't let yourself get pressured into making a decision. The one who will be affected is you, not them. Likewise, keep this in mind while you interact with your fellow gamers. Most online interactions these days occur in virtual communities with set rules and moderators to enforce said rules. This may lead some to think they can just leave it to moderators to handle these problems themselves. While yes, that is the right turn of thought, they aren't always going to be available for a quick response. Additionally, moderators are just regular people like you and I, and they may not possess all the information to properly assess the situation at hand. They could approach the issue with biases, which would affect their judgment. Furthermore, a response from a moderator could be seconds, minutes, or maybe even hours away, despite the convenience of the internet. Real life is still a factor to be considered. Always be cautious and wary online. Every time you log into the internet, there's always something to learn from, and you never know how other people will act. Always remember, What you put out on the internet stays on the internet. If even one person out there takes what I just said in this video to heart, or if I made a difference in your life in any way for the better, then I sincerely thank you. I hope this made your day or your life a little easier. Thank you for listening, and take care.